Your New Orleans Saints. How you like that? New Orleans Saints pull off a hell of a game, a hell of a victory. Um, Saints fans still feel down, and as watching the tweets across Twitter, they don't know where to celebrate or whether to be happy or whether to be glad. But I'm always happy when we able to beat a divisional opponent. So y'all give me a second. We gonna get it live. EJ decided to take a break today. I'm gonna take it over. It's New Year's Eve, and on this day, the New Orleans Saints defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And some people are very excited. Some people is like, man, we got to deal with Dennis Allen. But what you have to understand is we were going to have to deal with Dennis Allen rather the Saints won this football game, rather the Saints lost this football game. I'm just here to tell Saints fans I'm a little bit more optimistic about the football team. Seeing the fight out of the New Orleans Saints today gets me just a little more optimistic about the direction of this football team. And there's a lot of people going to say, man, you crazy. You are crazy. You are crazy. But the Saints fought today. And you can't deny that the New Orleans Saints fought today. If you, I mean, they obviously didn't quit on their head coach. Alvin Kamara, he played his heart out and got hurt in the game. We had multiple injuries. And for the New Orleans Saints to jump on a team like Tampa Bay Buccaneers who needed to just win a game, and they're automatically in the playoffs. Hey, kudos to the New Orleans Saints. And as a lot of people the Saints got a fair shape of criticism this year in the NFL. And well deserved. From the start to the finish, the Saints should have dominated this division. By far, the Saints were the better team in this division. By far, they were the poorest coach in this division. It always made me wonder what it would have been like if the Saints would have just had Sean Payton. If Sean Payton would have decided to not just run off and go to Denver, what it would have been like. If coaching mattered, the Saints show didn't lack for talent because talent was on the football field today. Yeah, New Orleans Saints is very talented. Poor coach, but very talented. I don't know what the new year is going to bring in for the Saints, but I can tell you this. They don't lack effort. The New Orleans Saints did not lack any effort, and anybody comparing the Saints to the bad days, you are ridiculous. Them guys fought for the Clapper today, and it deserves to be commended. New Orleans Saints, I don't know what direction they're heading into. It's still up in the air. Saints fans said that kept saying through the course of the year that Dennis Allen is a loser. But if he beats Atlanta, he's a winner. I mean, that's just the facts. If he beats the Atlanta Falcons, he's a 9-7 football coach. If he loses to Atlanta Falcons, he's an 8-9 football coach. Average, underachiever. But if he wins next week, we got to start looking at him as a rise. We talked about this about Campbell, the coach for the Detroit Lions. We talked about Campbell being similar to Dennis Allen in coaching. You watch Campbell, the coach for the Detroit Lions, for 2 years. I mean, he had 3 years in Detroit. First 2 years, the first year he won 4 victories. Second year, he climbed to 9-7. So 9-8, and it's crazy that I'm looking at the New Orleans Saints, and Dennis Allen is following the same path. The only difference is Dennis Allen won 7. He was 7-10 last year, and if he wins this year, he wins the last game. He's 9-8. That sounds like a team that's going up rather than a team going down. So you're gonna have that. It would have been very hard for Mickey and them did. I guess they just didn't want to get rid of him that fast. Saints fans, I don't know what more to say about the future of the Saints. All I know is Derek Carr played better at the end of the season than he played in the beginning of the season. The beginning of the season, he was a broken car. He is part of the reasons why we are not competing to be in the to be in the playoffs this year. But you cannot overlook the fact that he got better. The last 3 games, Derek Carr, the broken car, is looking like a working car. And I know some podcasters don't want to say that. I know some people don't want to say that because we like to live on negativity, and we're going to sit there and act like you didn't see Derek Carr play well the last 3 games of the season. I understand. It's not popular to say Derek Carr has been playing well the last three games of the season. It's not popular. But I'm going to say Derek Carr played well the last 3 games of the season. 2 straight 300-yard games. 2 straight 3 touchdown games. This game, he had 2 touchdowns. Yes, I like to say Derek Carr, from a guy who had we were making a joke about in the first half of one of the games, he had 35 yards. And today, Baker Mayfield, in the first half of the Saints game, he had 40 yards. Are we going to criticize Baker Mayfield in the first half of having 40 yards on the Saints defense in the first half, limiting him to 40 yards passing? No, podcast is not going to say that. Because we're going to talk about Derek Carr, and he's the worst quarterback. Derek Carr has 21 touchdown passes right now. I know it's not beautiful. 21-8 is not great. But that's not the worst that you see. I mean, let's just be honest. The whole team has been bad this year. Let's be honest. The offensive line has been terrible. I don't think Baker Mayfield would have been good behind the Saints offensive line. I don't think any quarterback could be good under that offensive line this year. I think we need to stand and act and really, really in this draft, we need to really be focused on drafting offensive linemen. We got to build the offensive linemen because the Saints will never be competing for championships, divisional championships, if they cannot protect their quarterbacks. And when I say this, I'm telling you real facts. If we go back, all the way back to when Drew Brees was the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, the offensive line was declining in Drew Brees' last 2 years. The Saints did nothing to upgrade that offensive line. We've seen Jameis Winston with 17 bones broken in his back. We've seen the reason why right now Drew Brees will never be able to throw with his right arm. It's because of our offensive line. We need a new offensive line coach. We need a new offensive line, period. You cannot, when I watch the Detroit Lions, and you see how the Detroit Lions built around their offensive line to protect Jared Goff, you can't tell me if Derek Carr was running Jared Goff's offense, he wouldn't be looking like Jared Goff. Jared Goff is not better than Derek Carr. Jared Goff plays with a better offensive team. Dan Campbell and his team is much better than the New Orleans Saints. Hands down. And that's because the Saints don't have a great offensive line. But you've seen today, when you give the man some protection, you see the man is decent. Is he a world beater? No. Derek Carr is a bridge quarterback. You draft the quarterback. You let him hold it down for at least a year until that new quarterback is developed. And he's a great bridge quarterback. We were talking about Geno Smith. Geno Smith is the same way, a bridge quarterback. Bridge quarterbacks. I want people to understand this. Saints fans. And right now, they just showed highlights of the Carolina Panthers fans throwing drinks at the owner of the Panthers. They were throwing drinks at the owner of the Panthers because the Panthers drafted them a quarterback. The Panthers drafted a quarterback of their future, giving up the first round of the number one pick of this year when they could have just sat back and got C.J. Stroud. They packaged their first round, and Chicago gets back-to-back. Who that? Deuce. Chicago Bears get back-to-back number one picks. Chicago, would you like to be a Panther fan? But the New Orleans Saints is average. That's what they are, average. And there's plenty 8-8 football teams right now. And we're probably not going to make the playoffs. We're not going to probably make the playoffs because if Tampa loses to if Tampa loses to Carolina, the NFL is rigged. if Carolina beats Tampa Bay, the NFL is real. Look, I'm gonna be happy, but in the NFL, it means not for long. Anything can happen. I'm just I'm just playing around. Because Carolina beat the Atlanta Falcons. We talk about the division games are very important. When teams play divisional opponents, you cannot lay down assuming that somebody's just going to let you whip them. That's the NFL. And some of you guys just think, I'm with you. I believe that this team is not going to the playoffs. But do they have a chance? Yeah. They got a chance. And I'm going to tell you like this. Do they deserve to go to the playoffs? No, the Saints don't deserve to go to the playoffs. If the Saints go to the playoffs, I'm not apologizing. Do the Saints deserve to go to the playoffs? Hell no. But if they go, I'm not apologizing. Saints fans, I don't know where you got so comfortable and you're so privileged. Sean Payton got our organization so damn privileged. And could it be right now Dennis Allen has a better record than Sean Payton right now? I know Sean Payton is playing right now. But Dennis Allen is 8-8 and Sean Payton is 7-8. Average. Our biggest problem is the offensive line. And you ain't never lied, Deuce. Because I'm going to tell you like this, Deuce. Do you understand that if the Saints had the Detroit Lions line, Derek Carr, the Saints would be in the playoffs right now. They would be one of the teams in the playoffs. The Saints line kept them from being a great team. The offensive line could not protect the run game. We have the worst run game in football. Everybody talks about Derek Carr, but don't talk about the game of football. Nobody talks about X's and O's. Are the Saints good at anything? We're talking about quarterback. Quarterback is not it's not just the only thing a part of the football game. The Saints' running game is terrible. And even one of our favorite running backs, Alvin Kamara, he has not even rushed over 80 yards this year. That's how bad this offensive line has been this year. We had got a guy from the Detroit Lions who had 17 touchdowns running the football. 17 or 16 touchdowns last year. And when he played behind Detroit Lions offensive line, he had 16 or 17 touchdowns. He plays under New Orleans offensive line, he can barely get go. It's the offensive line coach, and the offensive coordinator in creativity. It's not quarterback. It don't matter who we put behind behind the center. The Saints are awful if we do not address that offensive line coach and do not address the offensive line. We will never be good. The Saints could not keep defenders off their quarterback. We couldn't get clear pockets. But as you see these last three games, Derek Carr has a clear pocket. He had a clear pocket today. And he don't look so bad when he got some time. He didn't look so bad when he got time. And if you're going to say he looked bad, you want to say all this, it's because you just don't know football. Your IQ is so slow. And you're just a hater of the game. You're not trying to listen and learn you're not trying to hear what I'm talking about. It's more than the quarterback. Football is more than quarterback. You think Justin Herbert is a bad quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers? No, he's not a bad quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers. His offensive line is terrible. You put Justin Herbert with Jacksonville, and Jacksonville has a decent offensive line. You put Justin Herbert over there. Let's see with some good offensive line. I mean, some of your best teams. I mean, Justin Herbert is only the referee. He plays with Miami Dolphins. Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Tua. He's a better quarterback than Tua. He gets a better offensive line. It's football. And we got rid of Teron Armstead. We gave Teron Armstead to the Miami Dolphins. It's realistic. And the Kansas City Chiefs just got 40 dropped on them because they have poor offensive linemen. They got 40 dropped on them. The score just came up. So Derek Carr, let's pump the brakes on Derek Carr. Is it Derek Carr, or is it poor coaching? Or is it a little bit of both? It might be a little bit of both, but it seems to me Derek Carr is getting his shit together. It seems to me that Derek Carr is getting better. Maybe that $150 million might be worth something. Do I think he's the future? No. I think that we still should draft a quarterback. I think that Derek Carr is a bridge quarterback for our success quarterback. And I just believe that. Okay? So I'd like to thank you guys. It's New Year. It's the New Year. And I'm happy. My Saints won. And I get more people in my chat when we lose. I get more people to come into the post game when we lose. And ain't too many people come in when we win. It's telling me that this fan base was rooting for us to lose. Our fan base was rooting for the New Orleans Saints to lose. And I'm sorry. I'm never going to apologize for beating the Buccaneers. I'm never going to apologize for beating Atlanta. Anytime we got a chance to beat the Buccaneers or the Atlanta Falcons, who dat?